Hey, what's up, everyone? For this video, I actually want to talk about two DVDs that just came out. Then maybe after the video's over, I'll talk some more about the WrestleMania fallout and stuff like that. But yeah, let's just get right down to it. The first DVD I want to talk about is PWG's Kurt Russell Reunion 2. What can I say about this show? This stuff on the show that is absolutely great. You know, that it has a lot of great stuff on it, but at the same time, this is not your typical PWG show. It's not a really a good show to sit through. It's just a lot of. It's not supposed to be a great wrestling show. You know, you have a whole bunch of legends like Roddy Piper and Shane Douglas, Terry Funk. It was just supposed to be a fun show. Jake the Snake had his last match. So you kind of get a mixed bag. You get great wrestling matches, and then at the same time, you have a whole bunch of special attractions that really weren't just there to say hello to the fans and not really there to put on a great match. The Battle Royal came off awful on DVD because they had to edit out all the music, so they inserted the PWG theme for all the entrances. It just got really annoying. If you watch the Battle Royal, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, but this is not really a show that I would recommend watching from top to bottom. I would just recommend just checking out the good stuff because it's not like a storyline show or anything like that. So yeah, but like I said though, there's three matches on here that are great. I would say they're all 4 stars. They're all pretty much just as good as the next match. They're pretty much all on the same level. That's what I'm trying to say. So the first match we have the dream match. I mean, these two guys have wrestled before, but now that Davey Richards is like considered one of the best in the world, how Davey's improved so much, it's kind of like a dream match on itself once again because Low-Key's pretty much just as good as he ever was. So when you put these two guys together now, you would just expect something epic. Now it wasn't like I wasn't expecting like a great match where they were like slapping the taste out of each other's mouths, where you were just like, holy fuck, this is just an amazing match. It didn't really quite hit that level, but it's still a great match though. I'm just gonna give it 4 stars, but that doesn't mean that it's not worth watching. It's definitely still a must-see match. I mean, with these two guys, you could just feel it. It just had that big fight atmosphere. Now this is the kind of match. It didn't have like a lot of crazy like near falls and over the top finishes where you have to kick out of every single finisher. Like people have been complaining a lot about that lately. But this is a perfect example of a great match that really. I think there was like only one near fall, or maybe a couple, not that many, but just an awesome finish. Low-Key hit all his spots. Davey was stiff as so a tremendously a stiff match. A lot of athleticism. I mean, what more can you ask for? These two probably have the match of the night. I'm going to say this is the match of the night. A lot of people might disagree with me. Some people are going to find this disappointing, but it's in my opinion, this is still a great match. It's still definitely worth watching. So that's Low-Key versus Davey Richards. This match actually went on like 4th, so it went on really early. The other great match from the show was Kevin Steen versus Chris Hero. These two guys had a very hard-hitting match. They worked extremely hard. It was just a pleasant surprise to see, no, not a pleasant surprise, but it was a breath of fresh air to see Kevin Steen back wrestling again. It looked like he lost some weight. Him and Hero just had a slugfest. There was a great sequence where they were both no selling. The crowd was going crazy. This had a great crowd. Just another 4-star match between those two guys. I don't think Steen and Hero haven't had a lot of matches. This is like the first time where I remember them really going at it hard. I mean, they probably had some other ROH matches, I think at the Omega Effect, but that was pretty much it. So this is a fresh matchup, and it was pretty some good storyline stuff here actually with Kevin Steen. He's trying to get back on top. He wants the PWG championship. All his focus right now is on PWG. He wants to win the DDT4 tag team title tournament. He doesn't care who his partner is. It ended up being Akira Tozawa, but Kevin Steen, he's fully revived now in PWG, and since he's not in ROH anymore, that's where he's putting all his focus. So it's a pretty good storyline right there. The other great match was El Generico challenging Claudio Castagnoli for the PWG championship. This is Claudio's first mega title defense, and it was great. It was great stuff between these two guys. These guys have had great matches in the past. I feel like their match from 2007 at the Race to the Top tournament, that's one of the most underrated matches in ROH history. They just rocked the house there. It was great for both of them at the time because they really weren't established, and that really brought them up to that next level. So this wasn't quite as good as that, but it was close though. Claudio back then, Claudio was a little bit more lighter. He didn't have as much muscle, so he could do more as far as keeping up with Generico with the flips and the spots. But Claudio looked like a beast. On commentary, Cocabana and Excalibur were comparing him to Ivan Drago from Rocky IV. That was the big Russian from Rocky IV. And yeah, I could definitely see, Claudio, playing that kind of champion where he's just so unbeatable, and if you do beat him, it'll be a miracle. And I really feel like, ROH PWG, they need to book a champion exactly like that. So I don't think Claudio should lose the belt anytime soon. If I was PWG, I would keep Claudio as a champion for at least 2 years. I just think you could get a lot out of it. I just, and PWG, they're very, very lucky to have this guy as the champion. Claudio is just a beast right now, one of the best all-around performers in pro wrestling right now. So yeah, this show was still good though. Definitely check it out. It's not a easy show to sit through because it's about 4 hours long. Not every single match is going to be a classic. The other match I want to talk about really quickly is the four-way tag match, with the Young Bucks and all the PWG homegrown tag teams. Kind of a cluster mess, but it was still an enjoyable match. The Taylor boys look great. The Cutlers look pretty good. It's definitely worth watching as well, so definitely check it out. So that's Kurt Russell reunion too. Don't skip it. Like I wouldn't recommend watching the whole show from top to bottom, but there is some essential matches on here. There's match of the year candidates on it. Like I said, 3 4-star matches, and you get the dream match, Low Key versus David Richards. So definitely check it out. All right. All right. The other DVD I want to talk about is Wrestling Road Diaries. Colt Cabana, Bryan Danielson, and Sal Rinauro. If you're a Ring of Honor fan and you love the product and you really have a deep connection with a lot of the roster, this is must see. This is great stuff. It was, I felt like when I was watching this, right? I mean, some people would say, oh, what's so fun about watching, Colt Cabana and Bryan Danielson driving in a van for 2 hours or driving in a car for a couple hours? Well, it's a lot more than that. And, but I would tell you that I had more fun watching this than watching WrestleMania. I'm just being honest there. And it hurts me to say that, but I really feel that way. This was a really fun documentary. It goes back to 2009 during the Final Countdown tour. They pretty much just shot a whole bunch of footage of them just hanging out on the road. So that's pretty much what it was. But you get a lot of good storyline stuff during the documentary. That probably the most intriguing thing about it was Bryan Danielson making the transition to the WWE. He was kind of nervous at the time because WWE was making him go through all this testing with the with his health, because Bryan Danielson had a heart problem at first, so he's worried about that. And then he had elevated enzymes, so he was in the midst of trying to pass the actual physical before he could get the contract fully signed. So yeah, so he was really stressed out about that. But other than that, man, it was just fun to hang out with these, you felt like you were hanging out with these guys, backstage too. They were pulling pranks on Mark Briscoe and. So pretty much it goes from the HDNet tapings, Bryan Danielson's final HDNet match against Roderick Strong. They showed him and Adam Pearce kind of arguing after the match. It was like a friendly conversation, but Danielson was saying that he was kind of disappointing because the crowd kind of sucked. So it was just cool to see that. And then they went on the road, and they went up to New Hampshire for the Chikara show, Hiding in Plain Sight. You guys might remember that show. That's where Colt Cabana played the baseball game in Chikara, and Danielson and Claudio had their match against Quackenbush and Jigsaw. So then they went to a seminar. Danielson gave a speech. It was funny because Danielson was kind of frustrated because he feels like a lot of these young people that try to become wrestlers really don't, really want to learn that much. They don't ask enough questions, and so Danielson kind of finds the process kind of frustrating. But he gave a great speech. I just thought it was fun. And besides that, then they went on the road. They went to Bryan Danielson's sister's house in Philadelphia. I'm trying to think of some other things that happened. Then and obviously they went to Dayton and Chicago. They showed Danielson and Chris Hero talking after their match. I think Danielson got sick during that tour. And then it was pretty funny because when he had his match against Aries actually did a 450 splash and hit him in the nuts. And then Danielson just said that hurt like a bitch. And then, yeah, if you watch the DVD, after he got hit in the nuts, she's like, God damn, this hurts so fucking bad. I can't believe how bad this fucking hurts. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And then they went to New York City and Boston for the rest of the Final Countdown tour. I mean, just cool. I mean, this is definitely, you might find this boring if you're not a Ring of Honor fan, but if you've been watching the product a long time and you know a lot of the characters and the personalities involved with the company, you'll definitely love it. It's like a behind the scenes look of what really goes on in ROH. So yeah, I mean, definitely check it out. It comes with a bonus disc, which is pretty cool. It's only $5 extra, and on the bonus disc you get like you get like his full speech at the seminars and the wrestling schools. They actually also went up to the ROH wrestling school as well. And there's just like a lot of the stuff is kind of corny though. Like they just put like a whole bunch of crap on here that really isn't like it's not really something that you would want to watch, but it's just entertaining in its own right. It's like there's like a deleted scene where Cole Cabana takes out a Cena action figure and just makes fun of it by just whacking it off. So it's just like crazy shit like that. It's just like, and there was also one part where they were in New York City, just hanging out. A couple prostitutes walk by, and then they start shooting them. And then the prostitutes say, "Oh, that's illegal." And then Bryan Danielson said, "Well, that's illegal too, what you're doing." So there's just a lot of funny stuff on the DVD. So definitely check it out. You can actually buy it at High Spots, and so that's pretty much it. I'll probably make a video about WrestleMania, the aftermath, about how everything was later on in the week. So yeah. So all right, guys, thanks for watching.